Today I'd like to do a video featuring alternative survival cache containers. In my previous video called Geocaching for Preppers, I briefly went over the pros and cons of the typical PVC survival tube. So for this video I'd like to go into detail and show some alternative containers that you could use for your survival caches. Here are three alternative survival cache containers that I'd like to feature in this video. On the right we see the GSI Outdoors Lexan Gearbox. On the one on the top, that's the large version. The one on the bottom is the extra large version. In the middle we have the Survivor Ammo Can, and on the right we have the good old-fashioned Nalgene Water Bottles. The one on the front is the standard one at 1 liter, and the one in the back is the Nalgene Silo at 1.5 liters. So what I'd like to do for this video is use these as a comparison with the PVC Survival Tube, and we're going to do multiple comparisons, price, how waterproof they are, storage capacity with regard to volume, and many more things. So let's get started first just by going through a brief overview of each of these alternative survival cache containers. The GSI Gearbox containers feature a rectangular design. The extra large version has a handle on it, the large version does not. It features 2 latches to help keep it sealed. They're very durable. It has a rubberized gasket on the inside to help keep it waterproof. As you can see, they're completely transparent, so any contents that are included in it are going to be completely visible, which I find to be a plus with regard to survival caches. And also you could turn it into a geocache if you want to, since all the contents are visible. I find that the rectangular design also lends itself well for keeping larger items stored in there that might not fit in a cylinder type container. They're kind of like Pelican cases, but a lot more affordable. Pelican cases are very expensive. These are a little bit more reasonable. And that's a basic rundown of the GSI Gearbox containers. The Survivor Ammo Can is a container that's specifically designed to be used as a survival cache, unlike the PVC Survival Tube, which you have to manufacture yourself. This is a pre-made assembly. It's made with a durable plastic. It features a lid that goes on top of it, which helps have the water go off of the lid without going up into the actual container itself. It also serves as a protective shield. For example, if you're going to be hitting that with a shovel, it's quite durable. So you take off the lid to get to the next layer. Once you take the lid off, you'll see a nice set of instructions on the top that show you the proper burial instructions for this particular survival cache. As you can see by these drawings here, it's meant to be set up in a vertical position. It is not designed to be put on its side or upside down. As you can see here, there are 6 holes on the top of this lid here, and these are for the screws. It requires a screwdriver to get into it. It has 6 screws. It shows you the proper placement of how to put those in when you're initially putting this in the ground. So once you take the screws out, you're going to open it up, and then you'll see that the lid has some more instructions here, but more importantly, it has 2 rubberized gaskets here to help keep it water protective. Opening it up, you see a lot of volume, so there's a lot of storage space within this survival cache, and it also includes a plastic bag to further help protect the items that are stored inside of it. And that is the Survivor Ammo Can. Nalgene water bottles are very popular water canteens, but I feel they also make great little mini survival caches. This is the 1 liter version and the 1.5 liter version, which is called the Silo. They come in various shades and are available at almost any store that sells camping supplies. As you can see, they're also transparent, so that makes for great geocache containers. Since they're so small, all the items that are stored in it will also have to be small, but that might not be a bad thing for survival caches in all scenarios. Since they're designed to be water bottles, they're fairly waterproof, but I find that if you add a little bit of plumber's tape to the top there, it makes it even more waterproof. And those are the Nalgene water bottles. Let's start off first by doing a comparison of the volume of the various survival cache containers. Starting off first with the PVC Survival Tube, the one that I have is the 2-foot version. I feel that's the most common one that people do for survival caches, and it's using a 4-inch PVC tube. So using the volume for a right cylinder, we have a radius of 2 inches then and a height of 24 inches, which equates to a volume of 301.59 cubic inches. In metric, that equates to 4942.22 cubic centimeters. Next, let's go to the Survivor Ammo Can. We'll start off first in inches. As you can see, the height is a lot shorter than the PVC Survival Tube, but the radius is a lot greater. So we have a greater volume, overall volume. Actually, it's a lot larger than the PVC Survival Tube. We have a volume of 477.21 cubic inches, and in metric, that equates to 7820.04 cubic centimeters. Next, let's go to the GSI Outdoors Lexan Gearbox, the large version in inches. It's a little less than the PVC Survival Tube, and we have this time we're using a different formula for volume. We're using the right rectangular prism, and the volume is 296.4 cubic inches. In metric, that equates to 4857.13 cubic centimeters. And then the extra large version of the GSI Outdoors Gearbox, as you can see, it's quite large. The volume is 509.08 cubic inches, which equates to 8342.33 cubic centimeters. So we already know the size of the Nalgene water bottles. One's 1 liter, the silo is 1.5 liters. So let's convert all those volumes into liters and do a side-by-side comparison. So as you can see here, here's the Nalgene water bottle at 1 liter. The silo version is 1.5 liters. Then we have the next grouping here. At almost 5 liters, we have the GSI Outdoors Lexan Gearbox, the large version. The PVC Survival Tube is just barely under 5 liters. Next, here's the large ones in the group. We have the MTM Survivor Ammo Can at just under 8 liters. And then the largest one of the bunch is the GSI Outdoors Lexan Gearbox extra large version at over 8 liters. And that's a side-by-side comparison of the volume of all the survival cache containers. Now let's do a comparison of the cost of these containers. Now keep in mind, these containers are specifically designed to be bought, filled with stuff, buried into the ground, and then hopefully never seen again. So you don't want to spend too much money with the overall cost of the container. Let's start off first with the PVC Survival Tube. So you could get all the materials for this at Home Depot or Lowe's or any kind of hardware store like that. I find that the most expensive parts are going to be the caps to them and the tail. So I find on average, especially when you get this threaded kind here with a 2-part assembly and the tail cap, you're going to spend anywhere between $15 and $16 at Home Depot. And that's in addition to the cost of the actual PVC tube, in addition to the cost for the PVC primer and cement that you're going to use to actually, the adhesive to keep it together, and then also the plumber's tape on the threads of this thing. So on average, I find that you spend around $20 for a 2-foot version of this, give or take. That is the same cost as the Survivor Ammo Can, and there's no assembly required for the Survivor Ammo Can. So you kind of get the same functionalities, even same color, but with this one you're going to have to spend some time manufacturing it. This one you're going to spend the same amount of money and you don't really have to do anything, you just have to buy it. Next, as you probably imagine, these are the most affordable ones. I found on average that you could get a 1 liter Nalgene water bottle for $9 to $10, and you can get the silo version from $11 to $12. Now the most expensive containers out of the bunch are these GSI outdoor gearbox containers, and they also are very variable in their price. I find that it fluctuates a lot. For example, the large version I find anywhere between $20 and $27 online, and then the extra large version I find anywhere between $27 and $35. So as you can see, it's quite expensive. You could buy a Survivor Ammo Can, a large Nalgene water bottle, and still have some money left over for the cost of what the GSI Outdoors container would be. And that's a side-by-side comparison. So the cheapest ones are the Nalgene water bottles, followed by a tie between the PVC Survival Tube and the Survivor Ammo Can, and then the most expensive ones out of the bunch are the GSI Outdoor Gearbox containers. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video featuring the alternative survival cache containers. Please feel free to leave any kind of comments below in the comment section, and stay tuned for part 2 in which we'll be going through the water testing. Talk to you more soon.